Hi, I'm Chris Lovette, and I'm Vice President of the Board of Directors of Church, Sports, and Recreation Ministries, or CSRM for short. I've been Vice President of the Board for about 2 years now, and I've been on the Board for 4. And that's all well and good, but wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for local church sports ministry. When I was in elementary school, I played in a sports ministry at First Friends Church. That league was actually run by CSRM's Executive Director, Greg Linville, alongside Larry Hackenberg. They used that league to build a foundation for my faith while making me the best basketball player that I could be. Now, little did I know at the time, that league actually started before I was even born. And the relationships that would come from that league would be the single most impactful relationships of my entire life. I've lived the impact that sports ministry can have on someone's life. When I was in middle school, I went through some of my own struggles. My dad got laid off from his job of 30 years, and a few months later, my mom ended up leaving us. So my concerns went from trying to get A's and B's in school to, are we going to be able to keep the lights on? And I walked away from what Greg and Larry had taught me in that sports league. And I walked away from my faith. And for a couple years, I didn't really have a relationship with God. But by God's grace, I randomly ran into Larry again. And I ended up going to Heritage Christian for high school and playing basketball there for Larry and Greg. And they continued to teach me that the most important thing is not being a great basketball player. It's being a great man of God. And the two most impactful relationships in high school for me were two people that were also products of that local church sports ministry that I was in when I was in elementary school. The first person was Greg's daughter, Sarah, and the second was one of her best friends, Hallie. They started asking me to go to church with them. They started doing Bible studies with me. And ultimately, they showed me the love, compassion, and care of Jesus at a time when I needed it more than I could ever know. And it was because of those relationships that were formed when I was in elementary school that I even knew who these people were and that they were willing to do that for me. And the fact that they were willing to pour into me in my time of need will never be forgotten. I easily could have not gone to Heritage for high school, potentially not graduated high school, not gone to college, and not be standing before you today as Vice President of the Board of Directors of CSRM. But because of the people in that local church sports ministry and their willingness to have an impact on my life, I do stand here before you today as a college graduate and as a board member of CSRM. And I want everyone across the world to have an opportunity to be impacted through sports for Jesus in the same way that I was. In my opinion, sports is the single greatest ministry tool we have. Sports is something that transcends cultures and transcends nations. It brings people together like nothing else we know of. And that's what CSRM is all about, using sports to minister to people and have an impact on their lives. And there are a couple ways that you can help with this. First and foremost, you can pray for CSRM. The power of prayer cannot be overstated. Nehemiah rebuilt the walls of Jerusalem in 52 days through the power of prayer. So I encourage you to pray that CSRM can continue to impact people globally for Jesus through sports. And also, you can help us financially. There are 2 major ways that you can donate to our financial needs. First, you can donate to our monthly expenses. Second, you can donate to our endowment fund to ensure that CSRM is here for generations to come. I want other people and other kids specifically to have the same opportunities that I had to be impacted through sports for generations to come. So I encourage you to join me in praying for CSRM and donating to CSRM so that kids like me can continue to be impacted. Thank you.